This is Brad Marchand, and you're listening to Breaking the Ice with Josh Dolan. I don't think he would ever let a pizza get out the door before he buried the whole thing, so he likes to eat that kid.
Invite you into my home, and these are the conditions I have to work in.
Can we discuss the conditions of the equipment? Because last time Josh forgot to bring the equipment.
I didn't forget. I brought it, and it didn't work.
He's a real radio man, that Josh Dolan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not an engineer.
Thanks for having us in your house.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to do anything, and as you can see, I'm just in my underwear.
Oh, wait, hold on. I found your daughter's other sock.
Oh, thanks.
When I first walked in, we were plugging all the stuff in. Mike is like, Jesus Christ, there's my daughter's sock. He goes, I live with 2 teenage women.
I do. One of them's, my age, but she basically has the mind of a 16-year-old. And then I live with an actual 15-year-old. And they're, it's supposed to be the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're supposed to talk about radio here, but can I just vent for a second about?
Yes.
That's what this is. We're breaking the ice.
Okay. Well, let me break the ice.
Here we go.
Break it.
I'm supposed to be the slob, right? I'm the guy. I'm the Neanderthal. I'm the big dumb man.
You're the radio guy.
I'm not woke, I'm like, go make me a sandwich. But yet, I'm the one who's like picking up stuff. They just throw garbage on the ground like it's a tea station in here, for crying out loud.
His daughter's sock was behind the bureau over there.
She just takes off. She's like, my wife does the same thing. They take off their shoes and socks and just throw them. And I'm not saying you have to put them down. I'm not like a neat freak.
No.
But, when I'm coming down here in the middle of the night to get a snack and I trip over somebody's sneaker that's just flung into the middle of the room, I'm old enough where if I fall, I might not get up.
I've fallen and I can't
right?
get
I'm going to
up.
have to get a clapper or something.
That's my issue, is when I twist an ankle on an UGG in the dark.
Right.
That's when I have an issue.
Right? Yeah, or somebody's bra. Seriously.
Yeah,
Let me tell you
twist an ankle
something.
on that.
Bras everywhere.
Well,
okay.
When I moved the pillow to sit us on this couch,
Was there a bra?
No, that sock.
Oh, it was a sock.
Does that match the one that was behind the bureau?
No.
Okay.
No.
So we found
So
another
that was
sock.
a separate time.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at any corner of this room, you'll find any clothing except for mine. All right. Thank you for letting me do that. Is that the end of the podcast?
That's it.
It
This
is.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
for
much.
listening to the Bitchy Husband podcast. Tune in next week when we'll talk about dishes. Seriously, sorry.
No, but
No,
You
that's
guys want a
fine.
Bloody Mary?
I
got
would
Bloody Mary
love to
stuff.
talk about dishes right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
We should do a podcast about just for the downtrodden husbands,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The ones.
he just got into the arena, by the way. He just got
I know
married.
you're.
Also,
know, what are you, 2 years
make
in?
no mistake, my wife takes care of me.
Right.
It's
Clearly.
the dishes are the only thing where I'm like, can we?
Oh, she
Well,
doesn't
you
want
know
up
what? I don't even want to start, Josh, but you have several bizarre, I would call medical issues
Yeah.
Yes.
that need to be addressed by a professional.
And I never
I can't
noticed
even
them until we
imagine-
started doing radio.
I can't even imagine what it's like with dirty dishes with you, because you can't even say treat with this guy. And see, look at him. Look, he's angry.
Why? What does the word treat do to
Let me
him?
tell you something about the
Treat?
word treat with Josh. See, he's hating this.
Information.
It's such a positive word, isn't it?
Oh,
It
it's
is.
A dog sees a treat.
Right, and it's a cool thing, right? Or it's like, oh, doing this podcast is a real treat.
This has been a treat, Mike.
He's
Thank
getting-
you.
Yeah, right?
But
and that's cool. Or you know what he hates the most? When someone says, my treat.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
What
When
is
someone
negative
says
about
that,
that? Someone else
not
paying for your
negative, it
lunch.
just makes
Explain.
Someone else is paying for your drink.
It turns
And-
my skin inside out.
Like-
It makes my insides want to be on my outsides.
Why?
I don't know.
Because he
I
was,
don't know.
you know why? Sexual abuse from the Amish cult he used to be part of. Guys with no buttons on their coats.
But you make a hell of a counter.
fingering his ass.
or a bureau. The Amish fingered
I
you.
don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
And this
Raise
all
this
started
barn,
with
and
the-
while you're doing that, I'm going to examine your prostate English.
We have a couple of things we can call this podcast. It can be the bitchy husband syndrome
Right.
or Josh's treat.
Dude,
Don't.
we can do a whole 20-part NPR-style podcast on the issues Josh has with just normal things.
His whole
On the radio, it started with the Fluffernutter, which
No, that wasn't even-
I thought it was
before
inappropriate.
that.
but
It was
still.
before that.
That's different. There was no visceral, vein-popping reaction. It was like, oh, what was the other one? Oh, hot cup of
Napkin?
tea.
Oh, yeah.
You can say cup of tea.
Just don't be over descriptive.
Wait.
with it, you know?
He got raped by an Amish person while drinking hot tea, and he said, "Like my treat, bitch." There's the PTSD.
Yeah, that's
I'm
probably
having
it.
a hard time following the Amish part. I can't even say it. My brain is still
And long before radio, Mike, Josh, when I met him years ago when I first started at AAF, and he's been fucked up. I'm fucked up. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yes, well, that's another whole.
That's
podcast.
a whole another 20. But the anxiety is so fucking real with Josh. It's insane.
Yeah.
Right? You get wigged out. Just even coming here, you were like, I have to stop at Guitar Center. I have to do all this shit. I'm like,
Well,
relax.
I had to stop at Guitar Center because I didn't trust the other 2 microphones that we had.
'Cause they
and
don't work.
I didn't have time to do a sound check.
Because people that listen to the first podcast know you can't figure out how to bring the right goddamn equipment.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
getting-
it was the right equipment.
So let me get this straight. You
Mike
produce
Hsu-
a podcast, but you don't have the equipment to do that.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
I do have the equipment to do it, but
Well.
it's sat in my attic for about 8 months.
Because you
and
distracted him with that afternoon drive thing at AAF, so he put it all away and
put all my energy and
fucking went and did
radio
that
and
for
other
8
people's
months.
mics.
and that ended well.
Oh yeah, that ended great. We really killed it. Literally killed it. I mean, murdered it. It's dead.
So you
The
think
whole ship went down.
Yeah,
Like,
it's disemboweled, laying in the middle of the road.
maybe you broke AAF?
Hey, if I could break AAF, then good on me, because that's you're killing the biggest bull at PBR there.
Oh
you
my
know?
God! A lot
But,
of people want to know what the fuck happened.
It's pretty simple. It's business. It's a business.
Yep.
The company that owned us, Entercom, was made an offer by the company EMF, who runs a bunch of stations across the United States that do educational or Christian programming.
K-Love.
Right. And they made them an offer, and Entercom thought that would be a good deal. And
they found
went
us
with
on
it.
the clearance rack, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, we were on the clearance table, like at the supermarket, with the bent cans of soup and the half-opened
Yeah, when
cream
I heard
cheese.
the price that we were sold for, I was like,
Yeah.
I know a few people that have that on them.
Yeah.
Like, what?
You got to realize, though, a guy who owns a company like Entercom has an opportunity to sell multiple rock stations. This isn't Mike hit it right on the head. This is a fucking business.
Yeah, it's a
We
business.
were a tally mark on someone's computer screen.
Right.
Correct.
And I hate to put it in such cold terms, because I know, like myself, there are a lot of people who loved WAAF, still do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a rock station for 50 years, and how can you do that to a legacy, and a tradition, and to the people that work there? But at the end of the day, commercial radio is a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Things get bought and sold. Things change to help that company be successful. And that's basically what happened with Entercom. I've gone through it before. I worked at a radio station in Richmond, Virginia. When we started, it was a great thing because we were brand new. There had never been a radio station like it in that market. We were an alternative station. It was mid-'90s, so things were good. The climate was good.
Is that when you broke Dave Matthews?
No, that was the AAA station.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
what
worked
Josh
at
likes.
before. You want to talk about? I can talk to you about Dave Matthews, man.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday night, Dave Matthews playing for free at the Flood Zone in Richmond. I had to drive the van down, put up the banners. I was hanging with the band. They had a great piano player then. I think he went to dental school, though. He quit the band, went to dental school. You know?
He saw the writing on the wall.
To be a dentist?
Either way, I know. He doesn't want to play jams. He wants to be a dentist. That's an excellent Dave Matthews impression right there. He sounds exactly
Spot
like the
on.
Elf Foreman.
The 90s were the 90s were a sick decade for radio. I'm sure 80s and 70s were even better, but we're
The 90s were a lot of fun.
a lot of fun. But
Also in
but
the
shit
90s, you
changed.
had the deregulation, which
Big time.
opened the door for things like what just happened to WAAF. But same thing happened there. We were doing well. We were up against a big heritage rock station that had been there for like 20-something years. Every ratings book, we kept getting better and better ratings. But the company, and we had been bought and sold, I think, a total of 3 times before we finally got blown out. It was like...
Yep.
The first was this independent company. I think it was called American Radio something. It was run by this guy, Ken Brown. Great guy. He was like the Fezziwig of radio general managers.
Yep.
Loved to have a party. Like staff meetings were basically parties. They were at a pool hall or a barbecue place, And then he comes to us one day and goes, I'm selling the company because I just started a management company, and the first band we signed is this little band called Hanson.
Oh my God.
Right?
God.
And
Oh my God.
That's the same exact reaction in the conference room. Everybody went, oh my God, really? Because so I'm leaving the radio business and I'm moving to Fiji. So he's, good
He
for
owns
him.
Fiji now.
He's a great guy. But so then this other company came in. It was like Capstar and then AM FM.
Oh, yeah.
And then, whatever it was. And then finally this company came in and said, we think it's going to be more profitable if we fire all you guys and change you into a satellite oldies station.
What year was that? Probably 96, 97, 98, right?
90, that was 98.
Right. That was
Yeah.
right around the same time I was with that conglomerate. It was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, night quality stations that became Capstar, AM/FM. J-Core was in there. Ultimately became Clear Channel.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was doing morning drive at a station, and I pre-recorded a weekend shift, and I'm sitting at home listening to myself, and in the same second of going, oh, that's cool, I'm thinking, oh, it's fucking over.
Yeah.
Because it took me 45 minutes to pre-record. And for those of you who don't know out there, a lot of radio is pre-recorded shit. That
Yeah.
you know when they're not talking about what's happening outside the window,
Should we
what
tell him
time
about
it is.
requests now?
Hey, listen.
Can I request Leonard Skinner? No.
Can I just say in those last few weeks, we were taking requests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, I had some liberties on.
The amount of people that just messaged and they were like, "This is what I wish radio was all the time."
Every day.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
That should have been my confession when I went in with you two. Not the stupid. I was nude in the magic studio. I couldn't come up with. I just wanted to say goodbye to you
I
and
couldn't stop
Carrie.
crying.
But the point was the confession was I took some liberties those last few weekends. I was playing the shit that I wanted to play. I didn't get bagged because I
Right.
think people just knew at the end working at AAF something was up. Something was up. The sales were down. People had been fired. It was you and Carrie left full-time. Josh, you were part-time. I was part-time. And that in business is just like you said, you're on the discount rack.
Yeah.
Something was going to
Right.
happen. We all thought maybe it would get sold to a local group like Cumulus or a Town Square Media, and fucking bam, in
Well, the
comes
only-
Jesus. Here's 11 million.
The only reason, those are all red flags. You're absolutely right.
Right.
But the only reason Carrie and I fought to the very end was because the guy who they hired to come in after program director Ron Valeri retired, Joe Calgaro, said, you know what? I want to make AAF the radio station that breaks bands again.
Right.
Just like we did with Godsmack and Stained and Seven Dust and Disturbed. We want to be that radio station where new bands come and we form a relationship and we help nurture.
develop it.
We help nurture them in
Right.
this region.
"We'd be a radio station again."
Right.
We
a
were getting there.
a local radio
We
station.
were getting there. I noticed over the last 6 months, it was like all the new rock and all the shows that were advertising. We as radio and we as WAF hadn't done that in at least a decade.
Yeah, in a long time.
I started selling for the AAF in 2010, and it was a shadow of its old self then. I mean, we were playing fucking Bob Seger. I was like, whoa, what just happened?
Right. We were trying to be more mainstream,
Classic hits, if you
more
will.
more mass appeal, I guess you could say. The only problem is there's several other radio stations doing that same thing and doing it well. Like I remember there was a time where I was driving into work from Worcester to Boston, and I was listening. I forget it was ZLX, it was 92.9 and Us.
Yep.
So Carrie started playing Civil War, I believe, from Guns N' Roses. Not my favorite Guns N' Roses song.
Right. But the
So-
popular one.
Oh no, it's popular. People love that tune. So I'm not gonna, my rule on Guns N' Roses, anything by Guns N' Roses over 7 minutes sucks.
Yeah. My rule is don't.
Well, that's because you like 21 Pilots.
Oh, whatever. They're talented.
Different podcast.
So I'm like, well, okay, I'm not crazy about this tune. So I listen to radio like everybody does. If I don't like a song or a commercial comes on, I change the station.
Yeah.
I change over to ZLX. They're playing a Guns N' Roses song. I'm like, oh boy, not the same one. So I go to 92.9. They're playing a Guns N' Roses song.
Oh, and if you tuned in HJY,
Probably.
they were doing the same
yeah,
thing.
right? And even classic hits may throw in Sweet Child of Mine or something like that. So, we were trying to create our own lane.
Right.
We're trying to not just go back to what we used to do.
ZLX wasn't going to play Dinosaur Pileup.
Right.
No.
There's no radio station that's playing any new rock right now. You have good classic rock stations. You have
But
good
too many
classic
of them.
hit stations.
Too many.
Yeah.
and they do their jobs very well, but there are unfortunately no radio stations that are playing new rock from bands that are out there trying to make it happen right now, like Dinosaur Pile Up and Dirty Honey, bands that we were really fully on behind.
But if you want to hear Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, they got you.
Yeah,
and the same
And I
handful
love that
of songs
stuff,
too.
though.
Though, stop it! Like it's not going to kill anybody to play like Squealer from AC/DC.
Right.
No one's going to die if they
right.
hear.
Because you know who it is. There's unmistakable.
Oh, God.
Once it comes on, I might not know this song, but I know for fuck sure that's fucking Bon Scott,
Right.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Brian
Or
Johnson.
You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Jim Brewer.
Right,
But
exactly.
Either way,
Or it could be Jim Brewer. Right. But still, you're right, Isaiah. That's something I always wish that a lot of radio stations would do, was just not go so deep.
No.
But just go to that next track, like Pearl Jam, right? You could play Daughter, sure. Great song. But how about playing Indifference?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't a big hit, but it's from an album that sold 1 million in its first week. You know, so it's, you know, like that, like anything off of Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses. Sure, Sweet Child of Mine's a great song. You know,
Mr. Brownstone.
play Mr. Brownstone a little more. Night Train, you know, or get an edit of Crazy, you know, or something like that.
There's a space for, we were talking about this before we started this when Josh was trying to figure out where the fuck your house was.
Welcome to Worcester.
And I kept locking my doors.
Yeah, welcome to what? Did you drive up
like,
Chandler Street there?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
somebody knock on your door. Hey, man. Yeah.
I was like, doesn't anybody have jobs? Why are this many people walking around?
Hey,
No, there's that many people walking around.
Right.
That's Chandler Street, my
Yeah.
friend. What's Chandler Street, south of Park Ave?
We were talking about this before he got here, about there is absolutely a space for the new music thing. There always has been. Right now in the city of Boston, and let's even say the city of Worcester, nobody is appealing to that audience. I mean, there's something. Look at how easy this is. I show up here with a computer and a board. You show up with microphones, and we're talking. Where this gets distributed, turns out, you know, it's across Mike's social media, yours, mine. That's a lot of people. There's got to be something that we can do at some point where the music is the focus again. I know there's fees and there's all that horse shit, but there has to be something, because you, for example, your music knowledge is ridiculous. And
It is ridiculous, because that brain space could be used for other things, like fixing my refrigerator and, you know.
picking up your wife's socks.
Right, yeah, telling my wife to pick up her bra, for crying out loud.
But there's something there, and this day and age in 2020, it's so mobile to do this content. We're not at a radio station. We're
No.
in Mike Hsu's living room.
We're sitting on my couch. I wish I
Right.
could do the show like this.
Oh my God! Can you
Wouldn't that be
imagine?
awesome, Josh? You hang out and...
Well, we can.
Doing it right now.
That's the thing, because it takes the right people to monetize it, and it takes the right people like us and a few others that stay focused and say, fuck it, you know what, this is where we're going to feature new music. Like, where does Bay State Rocks go now? The fucking
I know.
show's just gone.
That's a goddamn shame,
What the
because
fuck?
that show's been on for more than 30 years. Carmelita dedicated a lot of time. She told the story on the air that, you know what, every program director that rolled through that radio station gave her the freedom to do whatever she wanted, and she took that freedom and she just dedicated it to promoting local artists,
Right.
and local events. And damn it, where does that go now? You know,
Does she have the social media and the website backing? I don't know this right off the top of my head.
You know what? She does have a website, but I don't know if it's maintained as well as it should be. And
People crave that shit.
but see, that's another loss, because is there another local music show
No.
like that?
Or like even a radio station that will have in-studio performances
Right.
from local bands.
Aside from college stations, because there are college stations that do
Well,
that.
those are
God
even
bless
selling
them.
Brown University's
Oh yeah,
stations sold
BRU.
to
But
K-Love.
again, that's a damn shame.
That's
That was
a college station.
I know, that was a great little radio station. You know,
There's no.
I listened to forever.
To answer the question, I mean, think about it. If you just go through the Rolodex of stations that are rock stations, most of them are pre-recorded from 7 p.m. on. Most of them are pre-recorded. We were blessed to have live shows on the weekend. I mean, people like myself were hired to do live. Most of them, because of the business bullshit, are pre-recorded, but that's where those live music shows used to live. And they used to thrive. Like Saturday morning, somebody would get up and do a blues show, or
Right.
somebody would wake up and do
The Sunday morning,
your metal show back in
right?
the day.
The Harder, Faster. You know,
That was the shit.
That was a lot of fun, and it got a really loyal, passionate following because there wasn't a show like that on any other radio station.
Right.
And the people, luckily, they found it. and promoters found it and said, "Oh, please, we're going to buy advertising on your show because they're not going to run commercials for suffocation coming to town or Nile or
Right.
Or Napalm Death or stuff like that."
Producing all the shows.
All bands that I learned over the past 8 months.
Producing
That's right,
all the
not just
shows.
medical conditions.
all the
Actual
shows
bands.
that you produced at AAF. I mean, in the last 6 months, how much new music exposure was there? So many of these promoters were like, "Oh shit, AAF is back to playing the new rock." I mean, every other commercial was like, Hell Yeah is coming back live. This one's coming back.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't. They're not. Hell Yeah is not advertising on ZLX.
No.
Hell Yeah is not advertising on 92.9. Great radio stations, but the next generation of classic rock. Okay, where's the new shit? Where's the new shit? It's
Yeah.
Sirius
Are they
Satellite
even playing
is the same
new
thing.
Aussie stuff? 'Cause we
No.
were.
Yeah, we were.
For
Yeah.
5 minutes years ago, before corporate got a hold of radio, I think Carter Allen was doing some, future classics. And you could play a song from the Black Crowes and say this will be a future classic because the Robinsons are just fucking a whole different thing.
Right.
But that's even gone. So where is it? That's why I'm saying a platform like this Breaking the Ice thing, and the name's already there. Breaking the Ice works with music, the conversation.
That's why I named it Breaking the Ice, because I was like, obviously hockey is going to come up because hockey comes up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about
every-
hockey.
We can do
No.
that. But Breaking the Ice works in a conversation.
This will be a fight.
We'll be fine. It's
Yeah.
in a conversation. He broke the ice on the podcast.
It's not his fault. The Avalanche sucked.
Hey,
I
hey,
know,
hey,
it's-
hey,
you know,
it
so
isn't
don't
his
blame
fault.
him,
Hey, hey.
Josh. Yeah.
First in our division, just like the Bruins. So let's meet in the finals.
not
Oh,
your
there's
fault
still a team.
Hey, I'll cut you.
Yeah, the Quebec Nordiques.
Go
the
back to
Colorado
Oh,
branch.
yeah, that's right. The Nordiques.
Want to go back? You want to go down
There
this
was a
road?
time.
I think I was in 5th grade when they won the cup.
You
Oh,
called.
dear.
It's not my fault. You're 12.
It's not my fault. Ray Bork's a traitor.
Wow. A
Um,
traitor.
He left.
Awkward silence.
That was I was waiting for the blows to
was
rain down here. Remember, that's a glass table, so don't.
Oh,
know.
okay.
I will choke you
Fancy.
No.
with his wife's bra.
Yeah, he could choke and suffocate you with that bra.
But the point is, Breaking the Ice is such a good platform for anything. We want to break the ice with music. We want to break the ice with guests. We want to break the ice and say, okay, let Mike Hsu tell you what he thinks happened at AAF. That can work for music too. Somehow, somewhere, we're going to figure that out. We
Yeah.
have to. And you're a great person to be involved if you want to, because, Jesus, you adore, we all adore music, but you have a whole different
Yeah,
fucking
it's an
DNA.
unhealthy. I start talking about it with my friends, and they're like, "Oh, he's gone."
He's going to start
He's
talking
off.
about
Just
the depths
keep
of
nodding
Rush.
your head.
Talk about that for a second. That was a pretty emotional day over the past 6 months when we lost Neil from Rush, and you are hands down the largest Rush fan I've ever met. How was that for you?
That it was similar to what I'm going through now. Not as strong because of my connection with WAAF, but it hit me pretty hard because their music has been with me pretty much my whole life. Like, I started listening to them when I was in 6th grade.
Right.
And I've just loved them just as intensely, even through the albums I didn't think were that great. But I've gone to see them. I didn't miss. I'd seen every tour since Signals.
Wow.
You know, that was like 82, 83, I think. I can't even remember. So much weed.
So much.
But that was tough because you know, when you're emotionally connected to something, whether it's music or sports or
radio
politics
station.
or a radio station or authors, whatever it is, and all of a sudden that's gone forever. And then granted, they had retired. They were never going to come back. You know, and Neil had arthritis, and obviously he had other medical issues, but it was a shock, I think, because it was the shock that really hit me hard, because I didn't know he was sick, and he's such a very private person. He didn't want anyone to know that he had brain cancer.
Yeah.
And so we got the news 3 days after he actually passed away. That's when the world found out. That was hard, but I was listening back to those the broadcast, and Josh brought up a great point. I think you were the one who brought it up, saying on the air, saying, you know, it's good that you're working here.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tough day for you, and it was definitely like we weren't in as good of a mood as we started out.
We had, it was one of those shows where we had everything planned out, and then 45 minutes in, that's when
Kinda
Carrie
like
came in.
The day
and,
we got sold too.
but that whole
Similar
thing too.
feeling.
Like,
But it was definitely tough. But I was thinking about it the other day, where I was like, that was probably one of my favorite shows, just because I got to see you pay tribute to Neil Peart on the air and do it the way you would do it.
And it
Like,
sounded incredible.
You paid tribute by playing whatever song you wanted. You took any call that was about Neil Peart and sharing memories and playing interviews by him.
It's Peart.
Oh God!
That is one thing that. Hold on. How
Said
do
like a Rush
you
fan.
officially pronounce
me.
that man's last name?
It's Peart.
Is that how he says it?
Yes.
Peart.
I don't, Peart. I'm a Rush hardo, but I'm not gonna going. It's Peart.
Which you just did.
No,
you mean
that's-
like,
no,
like,
I made it as a joke. From
I do that
from
to
I
people
Love You,
that
Man.
say Lucic.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Lucic. Okay, that's right. Get it right.
pronounce the name. But it's kind of weird that over all the years of radio, think about significant times. Eric Clapton's son falling out the window, Stevie Ray Vaughan dying, 9/11, moments like that. It is a blessing to be working at a radio station, because you're the fucking communicator. You're sitting there going, I need to push through this emotion and talk to you, and Neil for him, and Rush for him. I mean, you're the very first person I thought. Obviously, I thought of Neil and his family and wished them the best, but I'm like, holy shit, how's Hsu going to deal with this? And you turned on WAAF, and that's how he was able to deal with it, because we had the program director and the right people that said, must have walked in and just said, Mike, fuck it, go.
Because I'll tell you, the way I would have dealt with it, if I couldn't deal with it that way, would have been in my car crying, listening to
Playing
Rush.
everything you know from the band.
But I was so, to Josh's point, I was so fortunate to be where I was when that news broke. Because if I was working at any other radio station, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't. And you were exactly right, Isaiah. That's what Joe Calgaro came in. First thing he said, "Are you okay?" And he loves Neil Peart too, because he's a drummer.
Oh, wow.
So he's not a huge Rush fan, but he loves Neil as a drummer.
Respect. Yep.
And first thing he said asked, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." And he goes, "Whatever you need, you just let me know. The radio station's yours."
That's so awesome.
That's unheard of, Josh.
Yeah.
You
Right.
saw that.
I did.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like, well, is it though? Like, where's
No.
Can I have the whole thing?
Right.
You were like, I'm still, I still have PTSD from
Right.
like how
Right.
But he
radio
was just-
stations usually are.
He was just, he was like, do what you got to do. And he goes, you need help pulling audio and stuff like that. And Josh was on that, and he just gave me the reins. And
See, that shit is what died when WAAF died, because there aren't stations that just walk in and say, take it.
Yeah,
And it's a
Joe
real-
said that,
Take
and
it.
then you said, go downstairs, get every single Rush CD. I don't care
I
if
said,
they're
I
doubles.
said that. I said,
Right.
go
Get
downstairs,
everything.
get everything that says Rush on it, and fucking bring it up here right now. Josh came up with a giant stack of CDs.
Dusty
like
old
32
shit.
CDs.
And then he went on. I was telling him where to look for audio and stuff, and he
that's
found some
awesome.
great audio. People were calling in. It was a really great celebration of his life and the band's music from everybody, not just from the radio station and the bosses and Josh, but everybody who called in to share the first time I saw them, or when I first heard them, it made me want to pick up some drumsticks, or even first time I heard them, I wanted to play the guitar. It inspired me to make music.
Right.
The first time I heard them, and for me, it was like at the time I first started listening to them, it really hit home, because I was a teenager in Natick, Massachusetts, suburb central. It's not like Natick was. Natick now is really super nice.
I was going to say,
It was a little more. No, it was no back then.
was
Back
different.
then, Natick was a little more like we were wedged in between Wellesley, Wayland, and Dover, Sherburne.
Which one does
and
not
it was
belong?
Like I know, and it was like Natick was not yet.
Are you
Oh, we don't
It
have
is
that
now.
tortoise button now.
Yeah.
Are you saying it's there now?
But like the lyrics from that Signals album were all about that. It was almost like it was released at that time. I was feeling those same feelings, and it was, what do you call that? Is that synchronicity?
Could be,
Or is that
yep.
serendipity? Serendipity is a happy thing, I think. And it wasn't necessarily a happy thing because I felt like I was an outsider in this place that I thought was boring, and all people cared about that time was football because of the whole flutie thing. And
Well, you connected
my
with the music.
school
You
was,
connected with it. You
right.
connected.
And the lyrics that Neil wrote, I was feeling. It was so weird, and that's that instant connection. So when when I heard he died, it was like this guy I never met, but somehow knew what I was feeling, or was able to let me know that, when I went to see that show, at least I wasn't alone in feeling those things.
Right.
And that's a serious emotional connection.
Now, how old were you when that came out?
Signals?
Yeah, that
Was that
like
82?
82, so
I was 12.
I was 14, I think, or 13.
Now, I think I said this on the air. Like, there's something about that age.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you connect with the band, you connect with it for life. Like,
Yeah,
Oh, God.
that's
absolutely.
how old I was when Stadium Arcadium came out, and I fell in love with the Chili Peppers.
Hooked.
Now, I don't know what they were saying, so it's not the same thing. I have no idea what they were talking about. It's all gibberish.
But you connected
most
with
of
it.
the time. But yeah, it's
That's why he talks in gibberish.
it's
No
because of
shit.
Stadium Arcadium.
See?
That's why he can't look at a person, touch their tongue with a napkin.
Ooh, or say the word treat.
Don't. Yeah, the napkin
He's
thing
got
is probably
the
one
napkin
of the
thing
worst.
is the thing that's. If
What is
you take
this?
a napkin and you hold it inside of your mouth. I had a piece of chicken
Yep.
in my teeth one day. We had
Oh, my
wings up
God.
at the studio,
You guys got close.
and so I had a
almost
piece of chicken in my tooth. I took a napkin, kind of tried to pull it out of there. Josh saw me, lost it, like bent over, like someone kicked him in the nuts.
It brought me to my knees.
Again,
because he
face got
put
all
the
red, veins
fucking napkin
popping
in
out,
his mouth.
and he got angry.
Why?
Like when you say treat, he got really angry. I don't know why. Josh, tell us. Can you
I
explain?
I don't like being like this. It's just
He
I
can't explain. That's the weird thing, Isaiah.
Is it
like
Jim?
there's this
Wait.
one thing you told me.
because you just don't do the napkins for the outside of the bottle.
What was the
not
thing
inside.
about the Dunkin' Donuts thing? The cookie and a hug?
No, I'm not getting into that.
Okay, so every
that has an explanation.
That has an
though.
origin though. This is
Yeah.
different.
What the
So
fuck is wrong with
he
you?
used to go into Dunkin' Donuts with his parents, right? And
Yeah.
they used to get you like a chocolate chip cookie and whatever their chocolate milk was
Yeah,
called at the
the
time.
brand name was Chug. And then one time I got it,
Right.
the cookie, it tasted like body odor. And I was like, this is disgusting.
Tasted like
it was
body
a bad
odor.
batch,
Tasted like
maybe.
sweat, right?
Yeah.
And so
then-
he couldn't hear that, right? You can't hear that without feeling that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so
because-
that makes sense,
Okay.
right?
the word treat.
I don't
And hot cup of tea.
it's just
and
dude,
touching
stop being-
the inside of your mouth with a napkin. Those have no explanation whatsoever.
No, there's an explanation. Jim or Sandy or somebody did this to you. That's
I don't
mom,
know.
dad, or
It's-
potentially your sister.
I just
Sandy
when,
wouldn't do
when
that.
you're trying to be
No.
Jimmy
too
Donuts
fancy.
may have done that.
Jim.
Yeah,
Jimmy
maybe.
Donuts.
Tortured me.
Did you know that his mom drove him to work one day? It was cute.
I don't want to have to.
No, don't do any. No, there's no editing. I'm just saying it was cute that your mom drove. Your mother.
I do like that sound effect though
You're-
that you were making, and it sounds like it's like a balloon, like a little bit of air escaping. It's
you
like
say
a little bit of information is squeaking out of the balloon, so we might have to squeak that
See,
out.
he's
but
so
It's a
nervous
whole nother
about
series of podcasts, Isaiah.
It
that We
is.
should set up with some kind of psychologist.
That would be. I
And
know.
NPR would buy that.
Wait a minute.
You know.
I know a girl.
listen,
Hold on.
I'm
Hold
I'm
on.
fine. Just
Shut up for a second. Jimmy.
Listen. Shh, I'll turn his mic down. A friend of mine. Her name is Lucia, much like my wife. She's a psychologist, though.
Okay.
And she always said, she's like, hey, when you get on AAF, hey, would you ever have a shrink on? I'm like, again, no, corporate radio is not going to let me do much outside of, hey, here's AC/DC.
That's a great idea because thinking about the AAF listeners,
We all need some fucking help.
a psychologist would have like 4 or 5 different books written about our listeners
In the
alone.
first
Oh my
week.
God.
Right. Yeah.
So we could get her. I could reach out to
you don't need to
Lucia.
whisper to him.
No, we do. We have
Shut
to,
up, Josh.
Just stop talking. We could get her to psychoanalyze him.
Right. That would be a 10-part
Oh.
podcast. You know, someone like GBH would be all over
Oh,
that.
people would pay for that.
You know.
And then they'd look into your fucking dome.
No.
Wait. Can't look
You,
into your dome.
in the words of Keith Moon, you couldn't afford me, baby.
No, inside Mike Hsu's head, it's just a vinyl store.
That's right. It's just a record store
There's
with
milk crates.
with a poo-poo platter buffet in the back and go-go dancers.
I called him a couple of weekends ago. So after the whole,
You call everybody a couple of weekends.
well, listen,
You call them and then you say, "Hold on," and you
Hold,
put them
please.
on hold. I'm finishing an email. I'm like, "You called me."
I'm doing business. Stop it. But it was after AAF went down, the whole stupid bullshit. I was in Concord, New Hampshire, and I passed by this place called Pitchfork Records, and I was like,
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
"Oh,
I got to go up there.
Shit. It was another Mike Hsu moment. I'm like, first of all, I haven't been in a record store since Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, that wasn't a record store though.
True. That was a pin.
They had everything but records.
Right.
That was a memorabilia place.
Yes.
Pins, T-shirts, posters.
It reminded me of
stickers.
that, but this
Great
place had
Yeah.
just cassettes and records and all sorts of shit. And that's when I was like, I got to call Hsu because I know he wants to open a poo-poo platter / record store.
Yeah.
This fucking guy's been up there for decades. It's called Pitchfork Records in Concord, New Hampshire. We have to go there. He was a trip to talk to, man. That guy's been there forever, and you can get anything.
And they're making money now because the hipsters brought back vinyl.
Yeah, it's amazing. Vinyl has become what they call, I guess, a boutique item.
no shit.
So
Used to be a yard sale
it
item.
used to be. Yeah, you're right, Josh. Used to be trash, right?
Exactly.
Used to be trash. But now,
It's gold.
you know why? Because people miss that experience. You want to kind of
Right.
bring it back to radio here. They miss the experience of getting the record, taking it home, and putting it on your turntable, which gave you what? 20 minutes
Right.
aside at
Yep.
average, 20 to 22 minutes aside. Sitting down with the packaging, reading everything about it that you could. Unless you're friggin' Led Zeppelin, they put anything on their friggin'
Oh, my
packaging,
God.
and they just want you to say just about the music. It's like, I just want to know who the engineer was.
Alice Cooper gave me panties.
Yeah, that's right. Alice Cooper gave you panties, for crying out loud. Why can't you do that? And then, exploring the packaging, listening to the music, looking at the album cover and listening to the music, or reading along to the lyrics if they were, kind enough to put the lyrics in with the packaging.
Right.
Flipping the record over, experiencing side 2. Now, these days, or even you could go to CDs
The experience of not getting it open.
before digital, right? Yeah, you don't really, with CDs you had a little bit of that.
Yeah.
With streaming and iTunes and files, you don't have any of that.
No, you're just picking
You know,
and you're gone.
And you put it, nowadays it seems like you put it on if you're listening at home. You put it on and you do something else.
right.
Yeah.
You're cleaning, you're doing whatever in the house, laundry, you're picking up your goddamn wife's bra.
Wait.
And
It's
getting
and the music is
specific
like
again.
I had it coming in. I was playing music, right?
Yeah.
You did,
Oh,
yeah.
I was like picking up and stuff while I was playing. But with an album, you're kind of like, you only have that 20 minutes and you got to flip it over, and you've got something to hold on to. And I think that experience is something people want.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like sitting and enjoying a cigar.
Right.
You don't want to like mow the. Even some people do this, but like light up a cigar and mow the lawn.
No.
You
Sit
want
and
to
enjoy
sit,
it.
whatever, relax, enjoy that cigar. Very much like an album or reading a book or
People
something like that.
do that anymore, though. Like that, I feel like
That's
there's
what
just-
people should be doing. Everyone's so interested in the instant, bam.
Right.
Like I need, like,
And that's why it's coming back.
right. Sit
because
still
it's,
and listen to something.
it's a respite from getting it out, getting it now to this moment where it's almost like meditation.
Yeah.
You're listening to whatever the vinyl is. You're listening to your a copy of In Utero from Nirvana,
Right.
And it's on vinyl, and it doesn't sound like a file. It sounds better.
You still
It
have,
doesn't
like-
sound like a CD. It sounds warmer.
get
You're getting
scratchies.
that low frequency that comes with vinyl, and it's comforting. If you're wearing headphones, you can hear that. It's an experience, and I think people like that. And even the hipsters who are buying it just to say, "Oh, I got this copy of whatever that has the misprint on it or something." If that's the only reason they're getting it, then they're missing the reason
Right.
why vinyl exists.
Yeah.
And I think people want those moments now,
I-
whether it's vinyl or reading a book or,
Right. The fir-
actually holding a book, not a Kindle, holding an actual book,
turning a page.
or cooking something
Right.
and taking
Yeah.
the time to like cook something, follow a recipe or something like
Just
that.
connecting with something real again.
Right,
Right,
not just your
right.
phone.
Yeah.
Not just like you're looking up your social media, you're watching that Barstool video of that guy getting kicked in the nuts, which is great.
On loop.
Yeah, on loop, right? But, there are those times where you just want to disconnect from everything.
right.
And that
And I
kind
need
of
to do
activity
that.
does
You
that.
should
I
do
have
that.
not disconnected.
Get yourself
since
a
the radio's-
turntable.
Oh man.
You know what I love, and I used to hate as someone who grew up with vinyl. After a while, the pops and the hissing and the clicks,
Yep,
because
yep.
you played it so much, and
Yeah,
there's no way of
got
avoiding
wobble-
it.
it got
Every
wobbly.
time you put that needle up and down, or you're trying to find the one song you want to listen to or stuff, you're gonna put nicks in the vinyl and stuff, and it's gonna come up. I was in this record store, and I'm kicking myself for forgetting the name. It's down in Putnam, Connecticut, and they were playing this copy of this old Savoy Brown album, and I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing the clicks and the crackles, and I was the only guy in the place, and for a moment it was like I was on the moon.
That's awesome.
Those clicks and the pops and the warmth of the vinyl, of the sound, I was like, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful moment.
Nobody goes that slow right now, though. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
right. That's
and
the thing.
nobody takes
and
5 seconds
people
to calm
need,
down.
and you don't have to take a long time, like 5 seconds,
Right.
right? Take 20 minutes, even if you're like walking around the block.
Yep.
Except here in Worcester. But even if you're like walking around the block, well, not at night, but during the day, it's pretty good.
Right.
I don't know.
Just like so I think that's why vinyl is coming back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when I was buying records, I don't know about you, Isaiah, but they were $6.99.
Right.
Now you're paying like
Go to Lechmere. You go to Lechmere and you can buy them all day.
I swear to God, the Lechmere at the Framingham Mall in the 80s, I don't know who was running the music department there. They were spot on.
Love it.
They had like a whole side. The place was a whole separate section. It was designed. The music was loud. They had like lights in there and,
Yep.
and neon lights and posters. And they got all the best records. They had imports, stuff that was tough to find. I was in there all the time.
They made it a
Lechmere,
party.
Right.
which was great because my parents would go in and go, we got to get vacuum bags. I'm
At
like, well, I'm going to be in
Lechmere.
here. I'm not. You go have fun with that. I'm going to be in here looking at the import for Elvis Costello's whatever. But
Vinyl made such a difference, and that this all ties back into radio. How radio is getting all fucked up now, and it's gone. But that moment of radio where you connect with it. I don't
Right.
have a radio in my house. You have a radio? I mean, there's a Bose over there, but it's like it's starting to become a serious lost art. I remember in 1982, give or take a year, when my friend gave me the "For Those About to Rock" album by AC/DC.
Oh.
And I put that fucker up on the thing, and I had to reach up and I grabbed the needle. And the first sounds of that, ding, 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 I was like, fuck me, I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't know if I yelled fuck me at 12, but I was like, oh my God.
be
But it
surprised.
stuck with me. And it was like, oh. But then you sat through that 20 minutes. Radio is this whole, you sit through an experience, and fucking everybody's selling radio stations now and shutting the things off, going, this is fine. We'll put Ryan Seacrest everywhere. We'll put this program everywhere. And that's not where this industry needs to be going. It's not. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck
But
how much
people are
money.
taking it back because everybody's jumping on Breaking the Ice as a lifeboat so
Yes.
that they can hear us. And
Right.
people are going out and buying vinyl.
oh, this is the lifeboat.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
then, well, we're eating him first.
Okay. Damn it.
Once the supplies run out,
Well, so wait,
there's really not much there.
is
though, but-
Josh our treat?
Yes, Josh.
You know what?
would be-
Eat me
I'm gonna-
first.
I'm gonna-
He's like a hot
Eat
cup of
me.
tea.
I'm going to put a napkin in your
I'm
mouth.
sacrifice. I
Yeah, what happens if you
volunteers-
put a napkin in your mouth?
Let's do it. Let's get a napkin.
Oh, I
You die.
go in a coma. Yeah.
So does it matter if it's paper?
I go back in time. Is what.
Is there like? Does it matter if it's paper or cloth?
Yeah. No. Like. Oh. My
Work
teeth
through
are
it.
getting fuzzy.
Work
talking
through
about this. Thank you. A couple days ago, I was getting out of the shower and I was wiping my face with a towel, and
It's
it
like nails.
accidentally.
It's like
I know, look
nails
at him. It's
across
like-
a chalkboard.
accidentally touched
Listen to
the
his
inside
voice.
of my lip.
Your napkin? I mean, your towel?
The towel touched the inside of my lip, and I was punching the air for like 40 minutes. It was so I couldn't get it out
See,
of my head.
I do that when I'm peeling a carrot and I nick my finger. But
Or when someone drags a metal chair across a floor. It goes,
right, yeah,
Nails on a chalkboard. That's what all this stuff is like to me.
Okay.
But worse.
and there's no reason for it.
Time out. We got to get this therapist.
Seriously,
I'll call
This
her.
is a easily 10, 12 episode podcast.
So it's like breaking
Anyway,
the ice with
vinyl's
Josh Dolan.
back. When do you
Breaking
think
the
Beanie
ice.
Babies are going to be back? Because I'm sitting on a large investment.
Don't try to change the subject. Don't you dare try to. I was
I'm gonna
almost.
sell that Diana Beanie Baby now.
I was almost hooked, but I still want to know what's going on in your head.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
God
My
bless your
vision's
wife.
getting blurry. I need to disconnect and listen to a vinyl record
That's right.
for
You
about
gotta sit,
20 minutes.
You got to sit down with
Because I
like
was
a Robin
passing out on the
Trower
way here.
record and put some headphones on.
And
just,
I've always said, too, the kid needs to smoke some weed.
I've
Yeah.
never done that. Maybe I should try it.
you want to smoke some weed?
Let's do it.
I don't usually
I
smoke
feel like
this early
today
in the
would be
day.
a weird day to start.
I get
No.
stuff to do.
You-
I
so-
can't smoke
Well,
like I
didn't-
used
didn't
to.
you accidentally smoke one time?
I
You
never
came in, you're like,
accidentally smoked
accidentally.
anything in
well,
my
you
life.
came in and you were like, I haven't slept for 2 days. I accidentally smoked like the weed version of Adderall or whatever.
Oh, wow.
You like built a car
You
door
got some
or
good
something.
ones.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, I smoked this sativa a friend of mine gave me. It was called like Dog Pound or something crazy. It was a weird name like that. And it hit me like I was hyper aware of everything. And it was like a cup of coffee. It was unbelievable.
A stiff one.
Yeah, it was.
Stiff one.
That's probably what it was called. Have some of this stiff one.
Also, can we talk about at like station events and stuff, the amount of people that I would witness come up to you and just be like, "Hey, I got weed for you."
Love it. Love it.
Let me just take a minute right now.
Mike just sat up. By
Let me
the
just
way.
take a minute
This
right
is
now.
fucking
No.
serious.
You guys got to just give me this minute.
Yep.
I want to truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank every single person who has given me weed over the 20 years I worked at WAAF. Such kind and generous people. All sorts of great weed. Joints, edibles, saying, hey, let's step out into the alley. Let's smoke this fucking joint. You people are amazing. My local 420 brothers and sisters right there, the union members. I want to thank you so much for all that weed. If I could put that all in a pile in the middle of my living room. You know that scene in Breaking Bad where they have the money in the storage space?
Oh, yeah. Stacked.
And it's on a pallet. It's a pallet of cash.
Yep.
It would be a couple pallets of just giant piles of weed that people have given me over the years. And thank you so much. I know who you are. I'll remember. Well, no, I won't remember you because the weed was fucking amazing.
So fucking high.
But to Randy and his wife smoking in his car outside the Lucky Dog, to that dude who gave me weed, who knew my buddy Cameron in college, to everybody at Hempfest. Holy freaking Jesus!
What about all those people?
Walking through Hempfest on the Common, I was like, I thank God I had cargo shorts.
What was the group that we worked with in Worcester? Jeremy and them. They gave the Harvest Cup.
The Harvest Cup. Thank you.
You were a judge, and
The Harvest Cup. First of all,
2 years ago, he's like, dude, I have more weed than I know what to
the
fucking
Harvest
do with.
Cup one is an amazing event that I
Right.
never thought in my lifetime I would see happen in the state of Massachusetts.
At the fucking DCU
in this
Center.
country, an arena filled with people who know how to grow great weed, know how to turn it into edibles, know how to grow it, and you're going there to learn all that stuff.
That's a shout out to Worcester because Worcester allowed that at the DCU
Right.
Center, and they even allowed a fucking smoking section
did.
outside.
They
Remember
did.
Canicon?
Yes.
All the scientists
Yeah.
that were there.
It was good.
So that first year of Harvest Cup,
Yep.
they asked me to be a judge.
Oh man.
So I go and they give me I have to go to a place in Milford that was because the laws in Massachusetts say you got to test everything at a lab, that's certified to do this. And there was a lab in Milford, so I had to go down there and pick up my samples every week, and they could be anything. They were like flour, they were edibles, they were dabs, whatever. And I'd walk in there, and the guy would hand me this foil bag, like some Mylar kind of bag,
Yep.
like medical bag,
Right.
just filled with stuff. He goes, there you go. This week. Just got to sign for it. I'm like, okay. And I'd be walking out the door, hiding it under my jacket, and I get in the car and I'm like, where do I put this? And I've been I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm going to get fucking busted. My car reeks. And then I think, oh, wait a minute. It's legal.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that right in the passenger seat. That's right, motherfucker. And then the next year I did it, they must have given me, it had to be I don't know, it seemed like a couple of pounds of samples. I was just doing flour at that point.
And he had
They
to
gave
smoke
me-
and try each one of them.
They gave me
What does
one
that
of
mean,
those plastic, storage bins filled with little separate jars and bags of different kinds of weed that people had grown. And so you have to smoke it and judge it on, taste and the buzz and the way it looks and the smells and, the way it's cured and cut and everything like that.
Is this a wine tasting?
It is
Basically.
very much the same thing. the problem with that
he was
is
high for months.
it was.
He was high for months.
You know, they get, and there was no. I was, I'm looking in the thing. I'm like, dude,
I can't
do this up until the deadline. He's like, just do as much as you can. I'm like, I have a kid, a job. You know, like now I don't have a job. I can easily like sample everything all day.
Done.
But that was an amazing experience. And the Harvest Cup itself is such a great event, and I'm so glad it's happened in my lifetime. I've gone from running into the woods, being chased by cops in Natick,
to an organized event in a
that
city.
was another thing. The New England Institute.
Oh, the Northeast Institute of Cannabis.
Right?
Kara, Joe, good people over there.
Yeah, great people.
In Natick.
They were one of the first to open up a weed school, tell you how to do everything with it. The history.
It was awesome.
And the teachers there were experts. A great place, great
Learn
classes.
about the shit. Learn.
Yeah,
Don't smoke it, learn it.
And I learned so much there. The great thing about that place, it was in Natick. It was located in an office park in a neighborhood I used to live in, where we would go to smoke weed at night.
God.
And then more than once, a cop would come rolling through just patrolling the area, and there were woods right next door, and we'd run. The building that school was in, it's next to the woods we'd run into to hide from the cops because we were smoking weed.
Oh, my God.
And I was just like, this is so weird. Now I'm going to school for weed.
Do you think that PTSD will ever wear off, though? Because remember when we were at the Robinson Brothers concert?
Yeah.
Somebody that we were with pulled out
Yes.
stuff in their pocket, and
Yes.
the bartender went, "What's that?" And he shoved it back in his pocket. He's like, "No, I want to see what kind it is."
Right, yeah.
And they were just passing it back and forth over the bar, and I was like,
It's legal.
Yeah, as long as you got less than an ounce, man.
Which is
But
insane, because we would go to jail in high school for a fucking dime bag, and I
Oh my
could walk
God,
around
for-
with an ounce.
For a half a roach, you know, it would just, you get 2 years in jail for a couple of joints in your pack of cigarettes.
He was given enough weed by those Harvest Cup guys. When you put it in your,
Oh, my
when you
God.
put it in the passenger seat, it's like, doot, doot, doot,
No,
doot.
I put that in my
put on the
trunk.
seatbelt. Put on the seatbelt.
This is great. I put it in my trunk, and I'm pretty sure I hope they don't get in trouble. I'm pretty sure I had way more than an ounce.
Yeah, you'll be
Because,
fine.
but
You'll
it
be
was,
fine.
that's what they had to give that to me. So I put it in my trunk.
It was exactly an ounce.
Yes, it was exactly an ounce. I put it in my trunk, my Corolla, which has holes all over it. The thing smells like,
"Did someone hit a skunk?"
thing smells like a
Right.
greenhouse inside. I remember driving out of Kelly Square where I picked it up and going through past the Worcester Library, and somebody was filming a movie at that time. And I remember turning into that street, and there's a line of cops
Of course.
right there. And the first thing I thought of was, I'm
fucked.
dead.
I'm going to
They're
jail.
going to smell this outside the car.
I bet you went
I'm
the
going to
speed limit
jail
the whole way
Oh
home,
well,
too.
they were like directing. You
10
can't
and
go
2.
down this street. You got to
10 and
take. You
2.
got to take a right here. Take a right here. And I'm just like, big smile on my face, like, oh shit, I'm so
It's
fucking
not my car
dead.
that smells like this.
I didn't even know that was there. But yeah, that's always going to be there.
That goes. This circles around the. You wanted to give the shout out to all the 420.
Oh right, that's
All
right.
the
Thank you for
420.
giving me all that weed over the years.
I know. I
It
can't
was
imagine
very, very nice.
over all the 20 years or what. Just the Tool concert alone was. I was like, this is like the
Yeah.
fifth person to come up to him and be like, "Hey, you want to go smoke?"
That's
You know what,
very
just take it.
nice.
Oh wait, the one I got thrown out of.
Nice.
Yeah,
that one.
you
where
did
they
get
had
thrown
signs
out.
everywhere that says you can't.
I was
You
fucking
can't take
hammered.
pictures.
But you know Isaiah. He goes, "That doesn't apply to me, though."
No.
Yeah, click, click.
The stories that didn't
And you
necessarily
took
make it.
pictures when they said you
I
couldn't.
was shit faced. Sorry.
They were even on the seats.
I was shit faced.
There were notices on your seats. It said you
Shit-faced.
can't take pictures.
Shit-faced.
Oh, so when you get shit faced, you can't read.
That particular time in the
Really?
dark, no, I couldn't. I didn't do it the first hour because I was mesmerized at the show, but I pulled the camera up and started
No.
the video, and they were like, Gestapo.
Yeah, you're out of there.
Fuck. Whatever.
But you know what? Yes, thanks to all the people who gave me weed. But in those last couple days, people were dropping stuff off at the station.
Oh, wow.
Mostly booze,
Good. I saw that on Friday night.
and it was so much. We had
Oh, did you find the booze?
we were like we had a liquor store going.
my
Oh my God!
There
yeah.
were people like there was that one guy who came by and just dropped off a case of Bud and a pint of JMO.
I saw that.
And it just said to Mike and Carrie on the box, and he just left it in front of the building
Yeah.
and drove away. And people were huge bottles of Seagrams and Crown
It was
Royal.
really like
and
someone
whiskey.
died. Like they didn't want to talk to anyone. They were just dropping stuff off.
It was-
and,
It was
and
a
on their way.
funeral.
Yeah.
It was.
And then
it
people,
was-
I gotta also, if you're listening to this and you sent me a message on Instagram or my Facebook page or Twitter, and I haven't responded to you. I will eventually. So many really great messages from people.
Yeah.
People that were
Overwhelming,
obviously
really,
sad
'cause-
and disappointed, just like we were, that the station got shut down. Saying that they've been listening to it their whole lives, that the station was playing during some great times and during some really bad times. And I just want to let you know, I appreciate you sending me those messages, and I intend to respond to every single one of them. It's just that, and for real, I start doing it, and after a few, I get really sad. Even though they're really great messages.
Yep.
There's a lot of love in these messages.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. But, I'm still kind of like...
It fries your brain too.
It does.
A little bit, because when you're
it's
responding to someone saying you got me through the times where I had like maybe 4 people reach out to me and be like, WAAF was like their last connection to like a parent or something.
Right.
Like they used to listen with their parent all the time.
Right.
And now they feel like that connection is going away
Right.
because they felt at home listening to AF.
Very,
And I'm
very
like,
similar to what I was talking about before with Rush.
Right.
So not
That
only did I
personal
love
connection.
them, but, I'd gone to the majority of those Rush shows with the same people,
Right.
and 2 of those people are gone, and that brought that back. Rush was playing, when I had some really great times and some really bad times, and same thing with the station. And I know that I know that feeling too, because I grew up listening to WAAF too,
yeah.
and it was also the soundtrack of my life.
Well,
And
that's what makes radio so good if it's done the right way. And the very first question that we asked Mike was what happened, and the answer is business. And business has to happen, but this
right.
isn't a fucking car dealership. Okay, radio and this is a personal connection. He can tell you where he was in 1986. I can tell you where I was in 1982. You shared the story with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, the first time you or your wife became Bruins fans, let's say, it's because of an emotional, something happened, and you went, yep, I relate to that. I'm not going to say what can we relate to now, but the messages that are coming at us these days are fast and furious, and they're so quick. Whether it's Barstool for a hot second, it's literally a hot second. It's just, and I want it will happen at some point, and I still want to be around when it happens. Some of these larger companies will sell off a bunch of their stations to some local people again, and there'll be a day where we're sitting somewhere. Maybe it's on a station. We'll use Breaking the Ice as it for now, but where we can just sit there and play the tunes we want to play and say the shit we want to play and connect with the people, because that's.
But luckily, all this happened like at this point in time where we don't really need the station to reach the people.
True.
All we need is some microphones and a Wi-Fi connection.
Right.
True.
And that's what Joe Rogan's the number one. He beat out CNN, Fox News, NBC, all those on election night.
Right.
They're all fighting who was watching who more, and he was like, actually, I have more than all of you combined. And
he's
got
got a setup just like this,
He's not on a platform.
No.
So it's the Wild West right now. But I mean, that's why I don't get how.
We need to do more of that. We need to eat some kind of cannabis supplement and show videos of spiders that lay eggs in your eyeballs.
And just record it.
Yeah, just
it
record it.
live.
Isn't that fucked up? Look at this. Close in on this. That's the scorpion spider. It comes out of the sand and it attaches itself to your toe, and
What
then
was
it
that show,
makes you
Mystery?
grow another head on your knee. Isn't that fucked up? That's fucked up.
Jamie,
isn't it?
Google that.
Jamie, get close in on that. That's fucked up, huh? Here, take some of these. You'll feel better.
What was
How
that
many
show?
should I take, Joe? I don't know. Take 9.
That's what
You'll be fine. I took 9.
What was it? Mystery
Random
Science
Mountain.
Theater 3000 or whatever? That was a fucking great show.
Oh yeah, that's what those guys still tour.
Do they?
Yeah.
They sit in the. If you've never seen it, it's old weird movies, but it was 2 robot silhouettes and
Right.
basically 2 voiceover people.
Oh yeah, that used to
watching
come on after
fucking
Sesame Street.
weird
Remember that?
movies.
No,
and
Josh.
What?
It never came on after Sesame
No,
Street.
that was Zoom.
Reading Rainbow actually came on after that.
That
but
was
I remember it being
Geordi
on the.
from Star Trek, not Mystery Science Theater. Okay.
I remember
Jesus.
seeing it on.
Whatever,
Wow.
Josh.
You ruined
You
the
guys
flow
keep
on
going.
that
Wow, you
one.
I'm
just
sorry.
totally ruined that.
I'm just trying to relate.
Josh, basically, it was a show about what we did in the studio while watching the TV.
Yes.
You remember
Play
how
by play.
we used to just.
I remember the silhouettes, but I never heard the show.
This,
Okay.
this actually podcast could be over. He just fucked the whole
Yeah,
thing
you
up.
just
How did he
your
fuck it up?
boy, man. I'm done.
No,
You guys want a drink or a bagel or something?
a bagel?
Some weed?
Oh
Yeah,
God! Did it turn off? Did it turn off?